What's up? Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Use code CHGO when you sign up. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, and a very sunburned Nicholas Moreano. Look at his face.
Yeah, guys, I packed everything but sunblock. And now I know day two. See, we got to learn, adjust on the fly. And day two, I will have a shit ton of sunblock because it was hot here. It's the exact opposite of what it is in Chicago right now, guys. It's like high 70s, sunny, and sunburned.
Super jealous. You look amazing. Get yourself to Target, Walmart, whatever you got to do. We actually have a Walmart connection to one of the players we're going to talk about tonight, which I'm very excited about. Big day for the football Cats, which is why, Hoge, I am wearing a hand-me-down Adam Hoge sideline Northwestern something gear today to honor Adetomiwa Adebawore and Evan Hull, who were on my TV screen on my computer today, looking pretty solid. So congrats to the Cats.
Yeah, Cats all over the Senior Bowl. This is a Senior Bowl recap show. We're really excited about it. I spent my entire day watching these practices. Nick, of course, is in Mobile. He's there. That's why he's sunburned. You can't get this type of sunburn in Chicago when it's negative. Although it was sunny today. That part was kind of nice here in Chicago. I don't know what Carm was working on today. He may have been working on another. Devonta Smith should, tell the referee.
You know what?
That he didn't catch the ball take. I'm not exactly sure, but, he's here too.
Can I just address something? Because first of all, I had – and KT in the chat right now, for those of you listening to the audio, is Carm not suspended? I take offense to that comment, KT. If anything, I should have been promoted for that geniusness that came out of my mouth yesterday, if I may. But listen, let me just give a little background on that one take, and then we can get into the show. I am the son of Fred and Gladys Carman, more specifically Fred Carman, okay, in this particular incident. Fred Carman was born in 1925. He fought in World War II, never saw any combat, but he was a part of that generation that, you didn't ask for anything. You just showed up. Country was in trouble. Hitler's going nuts. I'm raising my hand. I'm volunteering. I'm going to fight. And when I was growing up, when we would go to sporting events, my dad was like Mr. Integrity. When people would be yelling at dudes to miss free throws, he'd be screaming at the fans because that was wrong. That was bad morals to try to impact someone's free throw. And I'm like, you are the death of fun. I mean that all lovingly to my 97-year-old father, but and he would literally root for the opposing team, for the Pistons to make a free throw against the Bulls because Bulls fans were yelling for Bill Laimbeer to miss. And I'm like, don't. And so I have not gone that far, but I have some of that moral integrity that's built into me, and that's part of what came out yesterday.
See, I knew to get through this show I was going to need some Goose Island. So I came prepared for all this foolishness, and we're good to go. I do have to we'll table that discussion. I think there's more there. I think Carm should probably play more golf, things like that, where it is on the player to call out himself for penalties, and if you get caught on camera, then you basically get disqualified. I feel like I have to call out Kevin Fishbane though, or somebody else, maybe an Eric Edholm, somebody that I feel like would get sunburned relatively easily. They couldn't help our guy Nick out with some sunscreen at the Senior Bowl practice today. There's nobody there that we can help him with some sun. I mean, yeah. Nick, you are just a very handsome looking gentleman, and right now you look like a lobster. I'm sorry.
Did you ask Fishbane? Did he have like a huge thing of lotion and just said no?
He said he had some, but he didn't offer me any, and so I didn't ask for any. I didn't ask for any, to be fair, but he did have some. So I don't know.
Media competition goes too far sometimes, and I think this is I think we learned a lot about Kevin Fishbane today. Yeah, I have some. Pause, no follow-up.
I mean,
although I think in that moment, Nick very justifiably could have been like, can I borrow some, please? And it would have been like SPF 150, but,
Nick was basically on fire out there, and Fishbane had a hose that could have put him out, and instead he just let him burn. Yeah. What type of job is that by Fishbane, our fellow Fishbane or Wildcat? Was there with his son at the basketball game over the weekend.
He was too busy watching Evan Hull and Adetomiwa Adebawore today. apparently. Hey, we got a lot to get to from the Senior Bowl practices that happened today. Of course, the Bears and Luke Getsy coaching one of them. In the second afternoon practice was the American team, which Luke Getsy was coaching, and do have some things, on the coaching front that I think we'll get into here. But first, Nick, you're there. What's your biggest takeaway from day one down there at the Senior Bowl?
After having seen Luke Getsy's practice, like you just mentioned, the American team was the second practice. It was a lot more organized in terms of just how the drills were being coached. And then it seemed like if you ever have been to a Bears practice, it was very similar to that. There wasn't a lot of downtime, a lot of hustle, where things just were supposed to be in a certain time. And once it was done, you went on to the next drill. And, I spoke to Ryan Poles for a little bit and told him, man, that first practice was a little out of sorts. He's like, we're going to see how the second one looks with Luke. And I was like, all right, hopefully it goes well. And it did. So that was a big takeaway. And I asked Jim Nagy earlier that day, what stands out about Luke Getsy? And one thing he said, as a person, he can command a room. He does a really good job with those guys. I think that resonated in terms of how that second practice really worked and what you're able to see from a lot of the players out there. Because the practice was run better, Adam, I thought you saw more out of those particular players than you did in the first practice. So, and Matt Eberflus was there. Obviously, he's been under his belt for an entire year now, seeing how those practices run. But I think he did a really good job first day with a bunch of new staff members. And he was talking about that. You have people from South Alabama as the line coach. And there's a bunch of different, revolving variables. But Luke Getsy made the most out of it on day one of the Senior Bowl practice.
It was interesting watching the NFL Network's coverage today, in my perspective, because the first practice, there was a lot of fun commentary, and shout out to Andrew Siciliano, Charles Davis, and Daniel Jeremiah. They're a really good team, and they do the Senior Bowl every year. But they had a lot of commentary on the music in the first practice. And there was actually a really good moment. Obviously, it's going to sound biased, but even they commented on it that the timing was perfect. But whoever was DJing turned on Jump Around right at the moment where Keanu Benton, who played nose tackle at Wisconsin, had a rep, and he just dominated his guy and got to the quarterback right on cue. It was really well timed. And then they were commenting early in the next practice that there was no music, that it had a different vibe. And I did think it was interesting. Nick, you probably saw but couldn't hear what was being said. But Getsy was actually mic'd up when he had the whole team together at the end. And shout out to NFL Network because they showed his entire speech to the players.
That was
and
awesome.
He actually commented. It was a good insight, I thought, to just seeing Getsy coach, first of all. But he commented, he's like, I really like the intensity that you guys had today, the right attitude, but he honestly wanted to have more fun, celebrate when you get a big play. It just was too uptight. And he even mentioned, I understand this is a job interview, but you guys got to lighten up tomorrow. Let's have more fun. And those guys on the NFL Network immediately commented well, maybe get some music going here, coach. Let's light this up a little bit. So I don't know, maybe there'll be music tomorrow. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and actually Luke Getsy, so some of the Bears media who were there got a chance to talk to him after that practice, and he talked about just that, Adam, where he felt like a lot of his guys were a little uptight, a little nervous about trying to execute every single route right, every single play right, but that was the message that he gave to them, was you need to lighten up, have fun, this is still football. But I'll be curious to see that, because definitely in the first practice, it felt like more old school songs definitely, and then the second practice, like you said, there wasn't much going on, but I did think that practice went a lot better. But let's see if Luke Getsy incorporates some music on day two.
It's funny that you brought this up, Ho, because I took notes on Getsy's speech. It caught me so much. I wrote down, Getsy wants more fun. Getsy wants more celebrations. Getsy did a great job doing push-ups because his team lost the drill. So there we saw Luke Getsy getting down and doing 15, part of the team. Then one thing I didn't like about Luke Getsy, he's like, guys, you're going to do media now. There's 15 minutes. When that horn brings, you get the hell out of here. It's like, hey, chill out, Luke. Somebody could talk to Nicholas Moreano for another couple of minutes if they want. They don't need to leave right at 15. He's generally a very friendly media Getsy guy. But then he understood their position. I also put in quotes, this is a job interview for you. So he understood their predicament as far as, I guess, having fun, but also just, good message there. Hey, yes, you're competing, but lifting up your other guy right now, that's something you're going to have to do on the team that you're going to be on. So seeing that you can do that and compete at the same time is a good look for these guys.
I did. I don't Luke. Nick, I'm not sure if you tweeted the photo of Luke, but you did send this to us with Luke Etsy wearing a Veets t-shirt, apparently underneath the gear he was coaching in. For those that don't know, so Mobile is obviously not a very big place, especially the downtown area. But where the main central hotel is, where they have all the players stay, there's like a 2-block radius of places like people hang out basically during Senior Bowl week. And the one bar right across the street from the hotel is called Veets. And that's where kind of everyone hangs out. And quite frankly, it's a dive, unless they've cleaned it up since the last time I was there. But it's a dive, and it's a type of place that has a reputation within the NFL. And I just love the fact that Luke Getsy's rocking a Veets shirt on the practice field after practice. That's awesome.
Yeah, afterwards, he's like, no one's ever rocked a Veets shirt before. Well, I'm going to be the first one. And then he was kind of talking to the media. He's like, maybe we can get a sponsor. Who knows? So he was all for it. That's who Luke Getsy is, though. He's a pretty fun guy. I got a chance to go to Veets last night for the first time ever, around like 9 o'clock at night. Like, there's this lady just falling out of her stool. I'm like, oh, this is Veets. It's still very early on, but it's very much a dive bar. I don't know what it looked like before, Adam, but I don't think it's changed very much because it is a dive bar.
All right, now I got to put my reporter hat on here a little bit. I don't want you to out anybody, but is this person who fell out of a chair, a local, not necessarily affiliated with the NFL, or is this somebody we would know?
This is actually a local, because I was chatting to the guys right next to me. I'm like, what's going on here? It's like, oh, she's one of the locals. She'll probably fall out of her chair again.
Yeah, she does it. There it is on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, the Luke Getsy rocking the Veets shirt. I seriously love that. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Did you get head coaching vibes when he was talking today?
You know what? I think it's too soon for. I felt like it was like talking to Luke Getsy, to be completely honest, Mark. In a little bit more laid back setting, because again, we were outside, nice weather, but it didn't feel like head coach vibes yet. But hey, the way he ran that practice, it shows the head coaching tendencies that he definitely shows.
We're gonna hear from Luke Getsy a little bit later on in the show, so you guys will get a chance to at least hear what he had to say to the media afterwards. I don't think we can play the speech yet with the players. That's NFL Network's footage, but I did find it interesting. By the way, Lawrence has a YouTube poll going right now. Which sunblock should Nick wear tomorrow? We got SPF 100. Get that man a bucket hat. SPF 30, SPF 10. Or none, oil him up.
What is that one at?
Second most votes, at least the last update I saw. So, but yeah, I would at least recommend a bucket hat or something. All right, we do have some interesting prospects to talk about. I thought this was an interesting day. I have to say off the top, though, that's some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen at any Senior Bowl. I mean, it was hard to evaluate wide receivers, which obviously matter for the Bears. And like, you could still see the route running, which was good, but like in terms of catching, Nick, obviously I was only privy to what NFL Network was showing, so I couldn't necessarily see everything, but they were showing a lot. Do you remember one single wide receiver making a standout catch today? Because I don't think they showed one, and I'm not blaming the wide receivers. I don't think there was an opportunity to make a play like that because the quarterback play was horrible.
Yeah, it was more so I saw really good route running,
yes.
not like a spectacular catch, because like you, I honestly paid no attention whatsoever to any of the quarterbacks there. But a lot of those footballs were being thrown the complete opposite direction where some of the receivers are going. And again, they're all learning this, what's going into this offense this week. But yeah, it wasn't very good at him. More than anything, I saw some good route running from some particular wide receivers, but not spectacular catches.
Let's talk about some of those wide receivers, because I have a few that stood out to me. most were in the early practice, but there was definitely at least one in the second practice that I saw. But here's a few of them because I wrote out a list earlier. But Puka Nacua from BYU, I thought was a guy that had size and pretty good route running in his one-on-one battles today, and I was impressed by him. I thought he had a good day. Jaden Reed from Michigan State. Somebody who, local to the Big Ten, have seen him play. It seems like Michigan State always has one wide receiver like every year that can impress in these settings. And I thought he had some wiggle to him. Trey Tucker was intriguing from Cincinnati. He's a smaller guy. I think he's only 5'10", but has that Tariq Cohen-like quickness to his game. And you see so many of these teams right now, and certainly with the Chiefs, where they have these sort of gadget guys that they can line up and create matchup nightmares. And I thought that he was interesting. And then Nathan Dell from Houston in the second practice on Luke Getsy's team, he really stood out to me as well.
Yeah, Nathan Dell was, I think, the winner of overall of both practices. He's only listed at 5'8", 165, so he is a small guy. And in these settings where you're going up in one-on-ones, these 7-on-7s, like that's a guy that should excel, but nasty route running, quick feet, precise in what he wanted to do. There weren't a lot of guys that could actually stick with him, but Nathaniel Dell was somebody, and I watched primarily the cornerbacks and wide receivers in the second practice. The first practice, I was more so watching the interior offensive line and then defensive line. But Nathaniel Dell was definitely a wide receiver that stood out. And I'm going to try to pronounce this guy's last name, but from Princeton, Andre Yosivas. And I think maybe, Lawrence would actually be able to have a better pronunciation. But that's a guy from Princeton. He gives me Christian Watson. Yeah, okay. Was it?
I have no idea.
I might have to write his name in the chat, and then you can critique me on how bad I maybe butchered that. But he almost gives me like Christian Watson vibes, where he's a big, tall, athletic guy, has this vertical speed, and his route running was a little better than I thought it was going to be. But Princeton wide receiver did really well. And also, I saw in the comments here, Rashee Rice from SMU. That's a big body guy who there was actually, now that I think about it, Adam, one good catch where he kind of has to use his catch radius at being at 6'3". I think he's around to make a good catch there. But I thought there were some wide receivers that stood out in that second price, more so because I was actually paying attention.
Carm, that was the guy you and I were on the phone earlier, and I had the sound muted because I was talking to you, obviously, and I was like, there's this wide receiver from SMU though that's distracting me right now because I thought he looked pretty good, and that was him.
So I got a couple guys that are distracting me, Hoge and Nick. First of all, you named him at the top. You telling me that you don't want Puka Nacua on the Bears? That's the greatest name ever.
Puka.
Get the ball to Puka. Let's go. And so I was watching. I like to watch interviews on these guys. And Puka Nacua, when you're talking to him, dude doesn't stop smiling. He's got Nicholas Moreano smile. The dude he's straight happy all the time. I'm interested in Nacua. 14 touchdowns, by the way, 5 catching the football, 5 on the ground. And don't forget his parents, Panina and Lionel Nacua. I've done a deep dive on Nacua. I'm all in on Nacua. And Hoge, I thought you would like this about him. You know what he's good at, Puka Nacua, outside of catching the football? In his highlights, hands look sick, moves look sick. The guy, dude's got some talent here, but he's also about a 200 average bowler. I thought that might excite you. Puka Nacua, damn it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Precision bowling, Nacua.
200?
200 is a good score.
Yeah.
200 solid.
Yeah.
I also like the Grant Dubose guy, Charlotte 49ers. He's got an interesting story. Small school, not recruited at all, was working at Walmart in Montgomery, Alabama. Went to Miles College, small, historically black school, 1,500 students. Was there in the pandemic. Gets recruited by one D1 school, the 49ers. You go look at his highlights. Dude's physical, man. He is. I like him. He excited me when I was watching highlights today. I don't know if he did. Obviously, Nick, I don't think he did anything today, but it was a hard day for receivers to show out. So I like both those guys.
Yeah, another guy real quickly. Now that I just have one, they didn't have rosters there, or they ran out when we all got there, which makes it so much more difficult. But got one on my phone here. Xavier Hutchinson, Iowa State wide receiver. He had a couple of good reps, I remember, just in one-on-ones. But also, you talked about that physicality, Carm, with the other player. You see that in Xavier Hutchinson's game when he's downfield blocking. Even though they weren't in full pads yet, you do see that in his game. But, yeah, those are all things that the Bears value at the wide receiver position. You got to be able – obviously, you need to be able to catch and, run routes, but you need to be physical in that run game and be able to block on the perimeter. But that was a guy that stood out right there.
Yeah, I thought I thought that with, just to wrap up the wide receivers, I thought that going back to Nathaniel Dell, I wrote down great quickness at the top of the stem of his route. I mean, just those corners couldn't stay with them. The same thing about the Cincinnati kid I mentioned earlier too, that smaller guy. He was that Trey Tucker from Cincinnati. Do you remember when Robert Quinn last year, when he was really good, his bend around the edge, like sometimes like the sides of he was seriously like somehow running on the sides of his feet. He was so horizontal or parallel to the ground. You know what I'm talking about? Trey Tucker had one of these routes today where he stopped so hard that like he literally slid like a yard with his feet, like just sort of sliding, but totally in control as he hit the brakes, and the defensive back just like kept going. It was really impressive the way he just sort of like stopped his whole body, got at an angle, and turned around and plucked the ball. It really stood out to me as a great rep.
Yeah, these guys are, you could just, even though we're in the stands, like you could just see the force and the precision that they're applying on each one of these routes, and the timing itself, it's pretty impressive. And I think consistently, and Nathaniel Dell's not the biggest guy, but every time he was breaking or cutting, they're usually DB's not there in his vicinity, and it was impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing how he can build off of an impressive day one.
Hey, Nick, did you notice Evan Hull?
What team, or where is he from again, Mark?
Oh man, that's a no.
You know what?
That's
hold that thought.
Right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about. I want to talk about some running backs here.
Ouch.
But yes, that was an awesome response though by Nick to that question.
Who the hell is that? Okay,
I know the other guy.
I guess not.
Wait, were you being serious? I thought he was doing a bit just to get at you.
Was I being serious?
No, it was Nick being serious.
No. I mean, I heard the name, but I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, Nick was being serious. I thought he was just. I just thought he was messing with you.
No, I think I was just the only guy that I saw a purple helmet.
Wow,
out
that's
there.
even worse.
Yeah, it was terrible. He just dogged it. Dogged my guy.
Cat or not a cat? That's the question.
Ooh, that'd be a good cat.
I know you liked Adebawore Adetomiwa, who's gonna be it, but Evan Hull looks to me like he could be a solid late round draft pick, or maybe even a free agent running back that could make a squad a la Justin Jackson. But anyway, go ahead.
Yep. Well, we're gonna get to some running backs. There's one that I thought really stood out, and I do like Evan Hull too. But more importantly, first on the list, we got some offensive linemen and pass rushers we have to talk about, since those are huge needs for the Bears. Real quick though, before we do that, got to talk about our next partner, a product we know Nick uses literally every day. We like it too, and that's
so it's not sunscreen.
It's not sunscreen. No. Although maybe athletic greens can protect you from the sun. I don't know. There's a lot of things in athletic greens, Nick, that I know you love a lot. 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, source superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens to help you start your day right. The special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Everything but blocking the sun's ridiculous UV rays that beat down on your face in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But all the other things besides that, of course. And AG1, it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It has it all. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that old cold brew habit. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health. Arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements. To look out for your health and to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And this new partner is perfect for me, talking about guys who want a better sex life. That's right here. Our new friends, our new partners at Roman. Hey, 50% of men have symptoms that get in the way of wanting or enjoying sex. Do you want a better sex life? If so, you're not alone. Roman is right here to help. Digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs, offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain that strong erection that we are all looking for on the male side here. That's correct. Discreet wipes is what Roman offers that helps you last 4 times longer in bed. That's always a good thing. And men with the low T, getting testosterone levels back to normal, this can help increase your libido. Roman offers a testosterone test if it's appropriate for you. There's treatment for low testosterone as well. No waiting rooms, no hassle. Straightforward digital experience from the comfort of home, so you can, you don't have to be in a waiting room and getting all nervous or anything. You're just doing it at home. Roman will send stuff directly to your door. Everything arrives discreet packaging, free 2-day shipping. This is what you want to do. Head to the website ro.co/ it says in here DNVR. So I'm assuming that's the same. I'm not sure if that works for us, but I think that does. And ro.co/DNVR.
Now we're doing /CHGO.
We are doing /CHGO. That's what I figured. Okay. ro.co/CHGO. There's a complete questionnaire. You're going to get diagnosed by licensed physicians. Free delivery again, the discreet packaging, ongoing care. It's good stuff here, so check it out. ro.co/CHGO. Use that promo code CHGO to get 20% off your entire first order. ro.co/CHGO. That's how you can learn more and achieve your personal sexual health goals.
All right. And in the interest of the rest of the show sounding good, we're going to do a little production meeting on the air, if I may. Carm, something's going on with your microphone. For some reason, when you talk to the side that's next to the N on your shirt, it sounds really good. For some reason, when you move back towards the middle or to the other side like this, it sounds like this.
So you think it sounds good here?
Or on the sides, it sounds good.
Sounds good here?
Yeah, but right in the middle?
Not here.
Not good.
Here's good.
The problem is,
not good.
The problem is there's a setting on your microphone. I have the same one. There's a little knob on there, and you might have it on.
Better now.
Man.
Well,
Jesus.
Better now. I'm going back where it was, and I will talk over here for the rest of the show.
Talk on the side, because it sounds good when you do that, or move it a little.
I just should have bought. I just should have bought the Shure mic. You know what? I just don't know where to get it, and that's my bad. And I'm going to solve this issue.
Just turn the mic 90 degrees. No, can we not do that?
Okay.
I don't know if it turns.
Oh my God.
Does that work? Is that
yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at that.
There we go.
Okay. I hate myself. Continue on.
Carm needs to find his
knob.
Okay.
And that's where Roman comes in. No.
That's clearly where we're at right now.
Okay. Shows off the rails again. Usually it happens on the first 46 seconds. So we made it 27 minutes today.
Yeah.
Pretty good job.
Doing better.
I'm fired up for our new partner, Roman.
We're getting there. But we got to talk about a guy that we're all really excited about. At least I am, especially. And that is our guy. Everybody's trying to claim this guy now. I just want it to be known that we were the first. I think first put this out there maybe even last summer or something. But it is Cody Mauch, who I learned how to pronounce his name correctly today. So that's how on top of this we are. But it is Cody Mauch, not Mauch. Mauch. Who is the just glorious offensive lineman from North Dakota State. And, just the long flowing red hair with the missing teeth in the front. He just built to be a Chicago Bear, I believe. I think, it should maybe he should be the first overall pick, even if we're being honest. Don't even trade back. Just lock him down at number 1 overall. No, of course, that's not a serious topic. If we are going to be serious,
Bill Belichick would do that. I like him. I'm just going to draft him right here. Let's go.
Well, what's interesting about Cody Mauch is he was a tackle at North Dakota State, a program I have a ton of respect for. I think they're extremely well coached, and I believe that's where Northwestern's new defensive coordinator came from. So I am very excited about that for Northwestern.
Cordell Volson is a starting guard for the Cincinnati Bengals. They nearly were in the Super Bowl. Christian Watson's dominating for the Green Bay Packers. That's just too recent. They keep on throwing guys into the NFL out of there. So
yeah, even at quarterback, and I know that it hasn't gone as well, obviously, with Carson Wentz, but and Trey Lance, but plenty of NFL talent coming out of North Dakota State. Cody Mauch, though, the reality is the arm length did come in today, and it was short. Only 32 and an eighth on the arms, which is 33 is kind of the cutoff point usually for tackle. And this is going to be something that comes up with Peter Skoronski too. And I think he's going to be slightly below 33. But 32 and an eighth is way on the lower end of that. I look at it like this, guys. I think Cody Mauch can be a dominant, possible all-pro type guard. Can he play tackle? Probably. But I don't know that that's going to be his best position. I don't know that's where you're going to get the most out of him. This is going to be a conversation that continues for a long time. Regardless, I think we get caught up in this a little bit too much. I think he's a good football player. And you're going to hear me say that a lot over the next few months. You hear me say that every year. There's just guys on the board that I think we get too much into the minutia sometimes. And it's just the dude is a football player. He's going to be an asset for your team. Just don't overthink it and draft him. And that is, I think I need to come up with like a logo or a box to check off for just football player. But Cody Mauch's one of those guys for me.
Yeah, he was there was a rep to you guys where he actually had come out for a couple of plays. I don't know if he had something with equipment or injury, but as soon as he came back in or was ready to come back in, the left guard that was in position, he looked back, he's like, oh, wait, this is you. You get in here. I don't know, there's a sign of respect with him and what he's able to do. But like you said, Adam, he looks like an offensive lineman, just being like, maybe a foot away from him. You got the teeth that are missing, just like big.
He practices with his belly hanging out.
Yeah. If he lived in the woods, I would completely understand. That's his look. That's how he plays. He's a mauler out there. There was a couple of reps that he had in the one-on-ones and against a guy named Tyler Lacey, Oklahoma State defensive lineman, who was having a pretty good practice, but he went up against Cody Mauch 2 times in a row, and Cody won those reps. I'm like, Tyler Lacey's a guy that I like. And then Cody, look at the process here. Wow. Cody's a looker, ain't he?
See, I don't think Hoge would have bought into him with the sophomore look. But once he got to the senior, Hoge is saying that, I'm all in. If his
freshman picture looks like, and I'm forgetting that actor's name, and I feel bad now, but he was in Friday Night Lights, Landry in Friday Night Lights.
Definitely Landry.
That's 2017 freshman there. That's Landry. And
it's Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons, that's what I was thinking of. But by the time Jesse Plemons was in much other bigger things, that's where he evolved into 2022, probably early second round, late first round, Cody Mauch.
Well, first of all, notice, by the way, 2017 freshman, he was a tight end. He was a walk-on. This dude has come a long, long way from not just the look, but from his actual football accomplishments. So you're betting on a guy who's developed himself, which I love late bloomers, so further in on Mauch. But since you're so fired up on him, Hoge, I watched interviews with him today. First of all, the young man that interviewed him out there in North Dakota, please call me. I want to give you some tips on how to interview Cody Mauch because you could have done a better job. But outside, it was so bad. I didn't plan on saying that, but it was so. So, do you like playing football? Come on, dude, we can do better. But the point is that we've all seen Fargo, right? Oh yeah, yeah. Hey. That's him. He talks like that.
I think Jesse Plemons was in the Fargo TV show, by the way, if I'm remembering that. It was a weird roundabout way to get back to Landry from FNL.
There we go.
That makes sense, though.
He's from there. He talks like it.
I kind of want to take a road trip to North Dakota State's pro day now.
My point of bringing it up is it would be amazing to have that guy in this locker room. I mean, please draft him. That would be so incredibly awesome. I don't know if he can play or he can't play, but I want him on the Bears. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was out there with Braxton Jones, and we were learning the offense, and I feel good about it. And now you guard or tackle, I'm good either way. Cody Mauch, baby, let's go.
It's a terrible northern accent.
I love this.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know what it was.
Don't ever do that again. Your clown takes are fine. Don't ever do that
again. Thank you, Lawrence.
Oh
yeah, I want to be a bear.
Slightly.
Come
better.
on, Mouth.
Slightly better.
What did I just tell you? Never again. Come on.
Now I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Here's the problem. He's probably not going to still be available at number 56. Could be available at number 32.
He's supposed to go day 2, though, right? He's a
how
day
many
2
times
guy.
we reference that? It's going to be painful.
Oh.
The Claypool trade.
Claypool.
Rise and shine, Bears fans. I traded your pick for a receiver who can't catch.
Well, he catches the ball. He just doesn't get it thrown out.
In my trade scenario for you, Adam, we're making a deal with Carolina. We're getting some of their second-round picks. They've got 8,000 of them, so maybe we can get them with one of their picks.
Get Mauch. Yeah, I mean, and that's been thrown out there a lot, even with the possibility of trading back to 4 with the Colts. Maybe you can get their early second-round pick, and that probably maybe get you in position to possibly land a guy like that. I'll tell you the other offensive lineman I wanted to talk about, because I was surprised by him, despite having watched a lot of Ohio State football. But there's this massive human being named DeJuan Jones. Okay, and he's so massive that when you saw him out there today, just on the practice field, Nick, you were there in person, so I want to hear what you have to say. But even just on TV, where you can't always necessarily tell the obvious difference between guys, when they would show him next, I'm not talking next to the cornerbacks. I'm talking about next to the other offensive linemen he was lining up next to. He looked like he was towering over them. DeJuan Jones from Ohio State came in at 6'8" and an eighth, 375 pounds. I think they said on the broadcast that he has the longest wingspan in the history of the Senior Bowl.
That is correct, Adam. And this is early on. This is actually the first note I have in my notes here. O-line, 79. DeJuan Jones is fucking huge. That is verbatim what I have in my notes. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that. O-line 79. It's a little blurry, but that he's such a large human being. I was like, and we got a chance to kind of get a little bit closer, and his arm length, like you said, he does have the longest arm length in Senior Bowl history. And when he gets drafted to the NFL, he'll also have the longest arm length amongst any tackles that have ever played. Like, that's how large of a human being that is. And I think the big thing he wanted to prove at the Senior Bowl, I was listening to an interview he did, is that he can have the foot speed. There were some reps where you're like, this man's not only big, but can actually move out in space. That's obviously very rare, but yes, the size of that human being was the first thing I took note of on day one of Senior Bowl practices.
People are asking in the chat if he can move. I watched highlights of him today. He wanted to be an NBA player in high school. Mm-hmm. Dude was putting the ball on the deck and throwing down dunks. So I don't know what it looks like on the football field. And he got smoked, by the way, by Aiden Hutchinson. He gave up 3 sacks against the guy and had a bunch of penalties that day. So, but that's, one of the best young offensive, defensive linemen in the game. It's not necessarily the worst thing. So I don't know. Could he move, Nick? What do you think?
I think it varied on the reps, but the ones I saw, he was able to, I think, use that arm length to his advantage. I think initially he'd lost one of the reps, but then he just slammed the guy on the ground. It's like, you lost, but then there's that happening at the end. So it was a little bit of a mixed bag, but I would say the reps I saw, he was winning those, and that's not to say that he didn't lose any on the day. But yeah, when you have that type of arm length, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I would. There's a comment there. Poles doesn't like guys over 350 generally. I think it's more about the body composition. It's something he's talked about, and body fat. And it'll be interesting to see where DeJuan Jones falls in that category. But
hey, real quick before you go further, does it bother you, Hoge, Nick, when you see a guy like he's got huge knee braces on both his left and right leg? Does that bug you at all?
no, a lot of offensive linemen do these days. They kind of just.
Okay.
I feel like most play with those these days. I was impressed with him today. The thing that honestly, so what's tough is, so you brought up how he got smoked by Aiden Hutchinson. Okay. And Aiden Hutchinson just had a great rookie year and is clearly a problem at the NFL level. And you can't necessarily find that matchup in the Senior Bowl as much as the competition steps up a little bit. When you're playing Ohio State, if you're Cody Mauch going from North Dakota State to the Senior Bowl, okay, this is a step up. Sometimes it's not for somebody at Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and some of those schools. Now, there was one rep today that I circled because he did pretty good against Keon White from Georgia Tech, who's probably a high first-round pick. And I thought that one stood out and definitely will help DeJuan Jones's case. But ultimately, big offensive tackles sometimes are too big. That's the problem, right? And so I think that he earned some respect today with having a good day, but it's a 3-day expo here. You got to put. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow.
Yeah, real quick on Keon White. That was a guy I wanted to pay attention to just because he made it on the annual freaks list that the Athletic does before the college football season starts, and it's a guy that's 6'5", 280 and hits 21 miles per hour. And I had to make sure I read that right. Like, this guy's that big and he can run that fast. And that's what he's trying to do primarily in today's Senior Bowl practice, kind of go around guys with his speed. But that rep you talked about, Adam, I had that written in my notes too. Like, hey, Joe, or the offensive tackle just stonewalled him. You got there in enough time. So that is encouraging to see, but we do have a couple more practices here, so we'll see if that consistency keeps on going.
Yeah, and Jones is probably a right tackle only type of prospect, so something to keep in mind with him too. We should get into some of the edge rushers. Nick, who stood out to you? I know you were just talking about Keon White. I know you're excited about seeing him, but I thought it was let's just talk about D-line in general, because not only edge rushers, but there were some interesting guys inside too. Where do you want to go first?
Let's start with your alma mater there in Wisconsin, Keanu Benton. I thought he had a really good day, Adam. There was one rep where he just ripped through, I think it was the center on the play, was able to get to the quarterback initially, but he was popping up consistently. And that was somebody that didn't really know about. And I'm sure, you had some kind of background on him, but Keanu Benton was flashing. Another guy that maybe is not on a lot of people's radars, and he's a little bit more compact than the other defensive linemen, but he's out of Arizona State. Nesta Jade Silvera was a guy that a lot of force he was just applying to these offensive linemen, driving them back. You saw it in the D-line drills as well, but packs a lot of punch for a more compact guy at the defensive line position. But those are two guys that I saw that I had no idea really about, but really impressed me, and I had to keep putting them in my notes as I was watching the practice.
Yeah, someone mentioned Foskey from Notre Dame. He definitely flashed a couple times today. Will McDonald, the fourth from Iowa State. I thought he had a good day on the edge. He's somebody that could go relatively high.
Nesta's a 3 technique, right?
That's correct. Yep.
You think he's big enough?
He plays with a lot more. He plays bigger than he is. I'll say that, Mark. He definitely plays bigger than he is. And maybe I would have to go back and watch to see how he did at Arizona State. But so far, so good.
All right.
Yeah, I can't say I watched a lot of Arizona State football this past.
I'm putting you on the spot, Nick, probably unfairly, but I just, you threw it out there. So give me the Nesta. It's a great name. I'm looking for good names. That's another solid name.
Carm needs to put you know what? I'm giving you an assignment. You need to do an all-name team.
All right.
For the draft. We need the Carm all name team. Can we go back to that super chat from I believe his name is Greg Braggs.
Oh, I know.
I've heard of him. I believe he put this in here. And Braggs is wondering, Nick, did anyone admit to cheating on a one-on-one rep today? Did Cody Mauch have a good rep? And then he's like, you know what, coach, I'm sorry. I held him. It really that should be a point for the defense.
Did you see this Gregory Braggs guy? He's a great friend. I love him. But he goes for the low hanging fruit, and it's just embarrassing that he would do that. Really, honestly,
I do have to say, Carm, you got beat up by CHGO. I mean, I get it from everybody watching out there, and since I was on the other side of the argument, I feel like I was rightly in my place to have a little fun with the conversation on social media. But I mean, at CHGO _sports just came firing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's running the account out there, but just coming right at me like, "Yeah, I know it's terrible to watch this thing. I'm really sorry. I don't know how much longer this guy's going to work for us." GM Jake Flanagan coming at me, giving me the video to just stop talking. Guy straight my boss on Twitter. Yeah, stop doing that, Carm. It's a good thing to wake up to in the morning. Well, might have to not do that anymore. But then there's my guy Kevin McDonough, who's. Did you guys know who Cale Makar is of the Colorado Avalanche? Do you know this? I retweeted it. Did you see this today?
No.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you what happened. This was just in December. It was a month ago. I'm going to read this. It's rare that an athlete asks for a penalty against the opposing team to be rescinded, but oddly enough, that's exactly what happened during Monday's game between the Avalanche and the Islanders. Late in the opening period, star defenseman Cale Makar, I think that's how you say it, gained control of the puck behind his own goal. It was being chased by the Islanders center Matthew Barzal. Makar quickly fell to the ice on the play, and it appeared that Barzal tripped him. The ref's arm immediately went up, and Barzal was called for tripping. But when the call went up in Colorado's favor, Makar approached the referee and revealed he didn't believe that a penalty should be called. Makar fell down his own accord on the play and explained it to the ref. Then, just seconds later, the referee changed his mind and rescinded the tripping call. This was a month ago. A month. So, say what you want.
Oh, boy.
Hey, I shouldn't have said that yesterday, but because I got so triggered by somebody in the chat.
So for those listening, we have this is how far it went on the internal CHGO on CHGO crime, but actual GIFs were made, GIFs.
They're GIFs.
GIFs, and they are now being displayed on the screen. If you're watching
see my
YouTube.
desktop,
yeah,
on my laptop, there's plenty of ammunition for future use.
I cannot wait. It's fantastic. So
Cale Makar is my guy.
And
that's my guy.
By the way, Cale Makar is not just a random hockey player. He's like the stud of all studs.
They're even better.
I think he won the Conn Smythe last year. So
wow, that's not good for me
yeah,
or anybody on the show.
But at least he said his name right. So I'll give you that.
Listen, I've asked to be on every show at CHGO. I have not asked to go on CHGO Blackhawks, even though I've been to 17 Blackhawks games this year.
You are Mr. Hawk on this show. You're our Blackhawks correspondent on this show, and apparently our Colorado Avalanche correspondent too.
Nagy is a great. You're a funny man, Nagy.
Nagy says
forever.
Matt Nagy says in the comments, we'd love to have Carm on the KC coaching staff.
Thank you, Matt. Do you think that Nagy is also Eberflus? It's the same guy, and he flips back and forth.
Interesting. No, I think they're separate.
You think they're separate?
I think they're separate guys.
I think
we have all the coaches.
I think you're on to something.
Yeah,
I think
you are too.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bragg says Carm is going to wake up with a horse's head on his bed. Not exactly sure what that means, but
now threatening my life.
It's a Godfather reference. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was very confusing.
I thought for a second I was working with Sean Anderson of the White Sox.
No, I'm not.
By the way, Jake says he did no such thing about.
Oh, we can pull it up.
Got receipts.
It's on Twitter.
It's for all to see.
At least it was. If you didn't delete it.
That's true. He could have deleted it. I don't know if he had it, but hey, listen. I knew it was all in love, Jake. Don't you worry. We're all in this together. But 5 a.m. when I woke up and saw that thing out there, and I've got 17,000 comments on this thing, and most of them are like, "Fire this guy." It was a little upsetting to start my day.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I contributed to that.
No.
By the way, I'm the one. Like I was watching it. I know I didn't produce yesterday. When I saw it, I was like, "This is hilarious." So like, and like,
it was great, and yeah.
I mean, you didn't stop talking for about 2.5 minutes. You just kept going, and it was spitfire. It was amazing. I mean, I just loved that.
If you missed it, please go back. I mean, it's all over social media, but you can also go back and watch yesterday's show, which would be great if you didn't see it. And I encourage you, while Carm's talking, watch me, not him.
Yeah. There's some good reactions.
Just watch my face and sort of things that were happening in my brain as Carm was doing the talking. By the way, Carm, shout out to you for having your thermostat at 73. I'm a big fan of that. I'm not afraid to turn the heat up in the winter, especially when it's negative 1,000 degrees outside.
I mean, it's freezing in here. I was wearing a ski hat all day at this place. I don't know what I could. I mean, I really needed to be on 80, but I'm thinking about the wall in a little bit. So I'm wearing this.
The Duke's by the way chiming in. He's saying that we got to oil Nick up.
Oil Nick up. Let's get weird. He says $9.99.
For enough money, I'll do it.
SPF 100 leading at 49%. Oil him up is 30%. SPF 30 at 20, and only 10% or 2% of the people say SPF 10. So,
yeah. And to everybody in the comments, I apologize for not immediately getting the Godfather reference. Okay, it has been. I will admit that is one movie that I've only seen one time, and it was a while ago. So I know that probably broke 1,000 different internal movie codes there. You know what I watched last night that was really good, and I recommend Hustle on Netflix. The Adam Sandler movie on basketball. It's actually really good.
Oh, I've been wanting to watch that. I wanted to watch that.
It got a lot of good reviews, and I finally watched it. It's actually really good. I enjoyed it.
If you're watching any recent Sandler, you got to watch Uncut Gems.
That's another good one. But this is kind of, it's obviously not the same movie, but it's along that lines where it's a more serious movie. But he gets his Adam Sandler comments in there too from time to time. It's a good flick.
Which one's with Kevin Garnett and he gets beat up?
That's Uncut Gems.
That's Uncut Gems. Okay, I haven't seen Hustle.
I watched Last of Us episode 3. Holy wow!
Oh boy,
just watched it last night.
It was great. I was critical of number 2. Number 3 was great.
I gotta get back.
Nice.
Sorry, go ahead. The Duke says $9.99. Carm believes that if you run a red light but no one sees you, should drive to the police station and fess up.
No,
Carm is the ultimate moral high ground.
No, Duke. I had a perfect example for you. If you turn right on red on a no turn on red on Michigan Avenue at 7:30 and somebody nearly gets in an accident, that's a ticket. You do it when no one's around. That's all good, baby.
That's a different thing you were talking about. That had to do with the refereeing. That was how officials should call the game differently in the fourth quarter than the first quarter. That wasn't even the same take.
That's true. I guess I can
just organize your crazy takes in your head. Keep them straightened out.
The Duke threw me off. That's my bad.
And real quickly with The Last of Us. With The Last of Us, when you're watching, you got to listen to the podcast that goes along with it.
Ooh.
It literally comes out after the episode airs. And
Nick,
so HBO's The Last of Us.
Sorry, I can't recommend people to listen to other podcasts.
But after they listen to CHGO Bears and everything at CHGO Sports, they can get their little 45-minute to an hour of the HBO Last of Us podcast. Explains a lot in the detail with the directors and things like that. I think you'll enjoy it.
I just watched the 3-minute inside the episode, and that's good enough for me.
Oh, that's always good too.
Yeah.
I don't know how Adam N knows me this well, but No Country for Old Men's not my all-time favorite movie. That's another thing in the comment, but I love No Country for Old Men. It's a great film.
Okay, friendo.
You don't like No Country for Old Men?
I didn't say that. I just quoted the movie. Of course I like the movie. I'll flip it for it.
So good.
All right.
We
do want to hear from Luke Getzi before we got out of here. I have a few more things to clean up out of the notebook. But glad to bring that conversation back to the stage here. Speaking of the stage is set. We're counting down to the battle in Arizona. There's no better way to get ready for the NFL action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57. New customers can bet just $5, get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can take a shot at an even bigger payout with DraftKings stepped up Same Game Parlays. Boost your Super Bowl 57 winnings with each leg you add up to 100%. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in free bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
And the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in our communities. ComEd offers the free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, whether it's lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. This is what you do. Don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, to schedule your free facility assessment. They're going to put money in your pocket, and they're going to put more energy into the world. All you got to do is go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz, ComEd.com/poweringbiz, or you can call them 855-433-2700, 855-433-2700, or here comes the email, business at ComEd.com, business.
That is kind of, that's supposed to be a bird. Yeah.
At ComEd.com. Get that assessment online at the website again, ComEd.com/facility assessment.
The Duke has another super chat. I don't want to read this one, but maybe Nick should.
Nick.
All right, the Duke 811. Nick, needs to oil up on fans only. My wife would pay for it.
See, now this is getting weird, and I thought it was already headed that way, and I thought we should be careful because when you start paying for comments like that on the internet that talk about oiling things up, I think we're talking about a different thing than what we do here at CHGO, but those sites do exist, so I don't know. But this is not one of them.
I mean, my all-time favorite TikToker, Tony. You know, maybe Nick can be him if you know, in another life. If I mean, he's got the talent.
It's insulting to Nick too. $9.99 for that. I mean, we got to be at least talking more than that, especially from the Duke. I mean, the Duke's throwing out like $500 for getting the number 1 overall pick.
Duke's drinking. Duke's having cocktails. Couple of cockies.
Crazy Tuesday night. I got an idea. Nick oils up while we hear EE. Why? All right, Duke.
Hey, I gotta do a quick DraftKings pick of the week here, and and even though the Super Bowl is over a week away, I have an interesting one that I stumbled upon that I like the early odds on because you know it's a Super Bowl. You got to get fun. You got to get weird. There's a prop bet that's already out there for any quarterback to have 1 receiving touchdown in the game. Plus 4,000. So you're getting great odds. But think about if there's a team that I think would pull off potentially Patrick Mahomes catching a pass, especially if he's not 100% running with that ankle or whatever, it would be the Chiefs. They always pull. Andy Reid pulls stuff out like that all the time. So if there was a team, and remember, you know, you had the Philly special. Things like this have happened. The Patriots in that game tried to throw the ball to Tom Brady at one point. It went horribly wrong, but they at least tried it. So I don't. If you're looking for a long shot bet, and this will be our DraftKings pick of the week.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I agree with Matt Nagy in the chat here. It's him that's going to make the call. Ooh, and remember that stupid thing where they all spun around, like ring around the rosy in the huddle?
Oh, yeah, that was cool. I like that.
And then what happened? Was there a penalty or something?
Did it work? I don't know what happened in that.
I think it should have worked, but there was a penalty, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. I actually like that they were trying to pitch the ball back with Travis Kelce. I don't know why more teams don't draw that up. It's not actually that hard to execute. But for some reason, it didn't work. It should have worked. I liked it.
The Duke's chiming in again.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'm sorry, but for real, I love Cody Mauch and honestly Darnell Wright more than Skoronski, especially since you don't have to burn a top 10 pick on them. I said what I said.
You do not have to apologize for any of your super chats, Duke. They were all amazing.
Yeah, we're just having fun here. We love you, Duke.
Yeah, you know this, much. Duke.
And I always appreciate your football opinions too. That's an interesting. And I don't hate it either. I mean, I still think some of those, especially the top 2 defensive guys we keep talking about at the top, are just at a different level. So I understand the sentiment there with the first round pick.
For the record, we don't promote any other podcasts here because we follow Lawrence's lead, but we would promote the Duke's podcast if he had one. The Duke 811 starts something. We're supporting it.
All right. Do you want to hear from Luke Getsy? Should we do that before we get out of here? I think it's interesting. You get to hear Luke Getsy's first day being a head coach, afterwards with the media. Kind of a little bit of bonus content here at the end of the pod. We don't normally do this, but I did think it was interesting. Nick's down there to get this for us, and here he is, Luke Getsy, the Bears off.
Let me just see if this works. So
okay,
this is a new thing. Here we go. Let's give it a shot.
Mentality coming in because you just calling yourself being myself. Like, you obviously don't want to come out here and be like a different person than you are personality wise. What were your thoughts
for sure
into that?
For sure. No, I'll always be that way. I'll always be myself. I'm not someone that's going to be going to tackle somebody, but I like to bring juice. And hopefully these guys were feeling it both in the meeting room and then out here on the practice field.
Luke, do you feel like you're really getting a test drive of it? I know it's an all-star game and you got a bunch of different guys that you hadn't met before, but does it feel like you're getting a chance to kind of show you can do it?
Yeah, for sure. I think any type of exposure like this is a great opportunity. Is it exactly the same? No, but the structure, planning it all, putting it all together, all that stuff is really valuable for me, for sure.
How useful do you think your experience will be for Ryan and his staff when it comes time to like, hey, this kid was sharp in the meeting room, this kid didn't.
That's the most important reason why I'm here. I keep the main goal, the main thing, right? And that's to find a way to get our team to be a better football team. And this gives you a great opportunity to dive into the type of men they are. Right? We're trying to build this organization with guys who love football, right? And so we get to find that out when you get to be so hands-on, for sure.
How much do you think you find out just from a week of practices? How much can you observe about how serious a guy is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so like what I'm doing, what I've taken this week to do is like I'm in every meeting room, so I'm going to every position, so I'm getting to see how the guys interact, see how they learn. Then I get to come out here and I get to observe every position too. So I'm trying to take advantage of that, not just keep it in one area, trying to get as much information on as many of these guys as possible.
Are you able to learn stuff from them on the grass too? I know nothing beats their college tape, but what can you learn just watching them?
Yeah, just again, that's like the natural. Is this guy just a baller or not? You get to see the subtle movements. You get to see how they handle change, how fast they can learn something and then go out and perform it that quickly. Because that's the world we live in, right? We can't do the same thing every week, so you got to be able to adapt. Which is a really good opportunity.
I couldn't see at the end what type of competition, what kind of competition was that the defense won.
So we did the big guys first. They just did a pass rush, and then we transitioned to the skills. So then the backs got to go against a linebacker, tight ends went against a safety, and then a receiver went against a corner, one-on-one, throwing the ball in the air. So just an opportunity to compete and just get a little bit of O versus D.
So was it 15 push-ups?
15 push-ups, yeah.
You know, I saw you do that. Would you have done them even if the defense?
Yeah.
Either way you do it?
Absolutely. You win and you lose, right?
You guys, how much time did you spend looking at Justin and the offense? Did you guys kind of wound down before the week off that wasn't a week off for you?
Yeah, no, we haven't hit that phase yet. When we get back next week, we'll begin that phase. We're putting it all together right now so that when I get back, we can hit that running. So we didn't really we took the time that last week to do exit interviews and spend a lot of time with each guy. I made sure that I spent 20 to 30 minutes with each guy on offense to really dive into the process and make sure that we're giving them everything they need in order to be successful.
Is that kind of going all the time for you, though? Is that just kind of always running in the background? Like when your mind quiets, that's where it goes to, is thinking about the offense last season, thinking about what you want to change?
Yeah, my wife would be upset about that because that's why it's hard to shut it off, and you desire being great, and you just want to do everything that you can to get the guys ready to be successful next year. So that's what I get that comment at home all the time. Are you ever going to actually be off? I'm trying my best.
Does she ever hit you with that classic, like, what are you thinking about right now? And you're just like, well, zone reads.
Well, no. So I built a little office in my house, so she sees me in the corner. She doesn't have to ask. So.
Have you been a head coach at any level in any?
No. So just offense coordinator at Division II, and then now here. So.
Luke, was there anything in particular you wanted to work on in terms of coaching with this opportunity, working with a bunch of group of guys that after the season that you had with the Bears that you wanted to kind of work on at this event here?
Yeah, no, I think just the exposure and getting to coach all the different positions I think I've spent so much time on offense. It's always easy and natural to just go to the quarterback, go to the receiver, right? Go to the O-line or tight ends. So just making sure that I have a conscious effort to go to the defense, go to the special teams, and be a part of all that so that I can help coach those guys too.
Is that something you notice that Flus has made? Because I know Flus always talks about it. He wants to make sure he's in everything too. That's something you kind of appreciate by the way he goes about it.
Absolutely. Being present is the most important thing. Even if you're not, participating in it, but being present for your guys is the most important thing. I truly value the relationship with the player more than I do anything else. And so that's a big reason why I want to do that.
So are you balancing all the different responsibilities right now? You're coaching a team every day, but you said also the main reason you're here is for player evaluation. So are you going through practice film, but also filing like reports and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're doing all that stuff. I even catch myself in the middle of the practice, like taking a second to step back and actually evaluate a little bit rather than trying to coach. And then the coach comes out, so just trying to balance all that stuff, but, just trying to collect as much good information as we can.
With the O-linemen out here, the transition from college, what's kind of the number one thing you see with them as they have to make that jump?
Yeah, I mean, you saw we had Braxton go in there right away from a smaller school, and you got to see him last year kind of dive in. You get to see the raw athlete, right? But the speed and the change of direction that they see on the other side of the line of scrimmage at our level is nothing that even the guys here in the SEC, they don't see it. So I was joking about it on the sideline. I said we have the best of the best here, but it's still, you can tell that it's not that game that we play every Sunday.
There he is, Luke Getsy. We're all kind of smiling here because we have an interesting development that occurred while we were playing that. But real quick, to be professional and cap off I found that interesting with Luke Getsy. Good stuff by Nick grabbing that. And it was interesting for him to kind of go through his first head coaching experience and hear from him on some of those experiences too. I also like that he pointed out that the draft evaluation is the most important thing that they're doing down here. So at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to figure out with some of these prospects. Real quick though, while we were playing that, we have been informed after an investigation that when Carm accused our general manager, Jake Flanagan, of tweeting at him in the middle of the night, ripping him for his take yesterday, he was actually wrong. That was not Jake Flanagan. It was just some other guy on Twitter named Jake.
Yeah. I think now I might actually be getting fired. But it said Jake. It was 4:30. I don't know how I got that wrong, but I would like to personally apologize to Jake Flanagan, who was doing a phenomenal job leading us to the promised land. And I just blew it apparently. And I don't know what I owe Jake, but I owe him something significant. And I look forward to making this up to Jake and Brandon and Kevin and Adam and Nick and Braggs and everybody for making this faux pas. I thought that, Hoge, did you see that same tweet and think the same thing that I thought, or was I just you just kind of thought that can you join me here, list?
I thought I saw him join in at one point, but I think I got it confused with another tweet that I did see go out yesterday. Okay. One I was not aware of, but okay. A lot of people have a lot of quarterback receipts from the past.
Yeah.
That go very, very poorly. I would like to give Jake Flanagan credit for resurfacing a take he definitely deserves and should brag about constantly, maybe even every hour, every day. But he has receipts on Twitter from December 15th, 2016, saying Bears draft day, Patrick Mahomes no matter what.
Wow.
That's months before that NFL draft in which the Bears took Mitch Trubisky.
Well, and it's right up Nicholas Moreano lane too. We got two people who were calling for that. I think Hoge, you had Watson, right?
No, my order was wrong. It was Trubisky, Mahomes, Watson, which by the way was the Bears order too. So
I would have honored my word and drafted Mahomes as the first quarterback to the Bears, just in my tweet from 4+ months prior to the NFL draft clearly proves. Unfortunately, at Scotty Crinch and I were not co-GMs at the time. We are putting Jake's tweet up on the screen here on the YouTube. Man, it's
never going to go away, by the way. That was by the way, there's all recircling in the news.
No,
because shout out to our friends on Danny Parkins and Matt Spiegel's show. They had Patrick Mahomes' dad on yesterday, and he said that the Bears told Patrick Mahomes they were going to draft him. Now, I have two reactions to this, and one is this is never going to go away. I'm sorry. It's just not, because teams miss on quarterbacks all the times. They don't draft the right one, but they picked the wrong one, and one of them is going to maybe be the best quarterback ever besides Tom Brady, or for all we know, maybe even challenge Tom Brady, because he's already on a ridiculous Super Bowl pace as it is, at least just getting there. We'll see how it looks in a couple weeks if he actually wins this one. But the reality is it's probably the worst decision in Chicago sports history, right?
We said it last night on After Dark. It's the Bears are the Portland Trailblazers and Sam Bowie. I mean, he's not quite that, but that never went away in Portland. It's never going away here ever.
Yeah,
it's for life. That one is a for lifer.
You're muted there, Lawrence. What is happening on this show right now?
I said apparently Nick is going away, and look at that.
Did you just have food delivered?
No, I've had this since 5? I haven't been able to eat it. I haven't eaten like maybe 8 hours.
No, boy, we should have the show so Nick can eat. Not
no
die.
Reese's peanut butter cups for you. Come on.
I love the
No,
next
they didn't even have those. They
fine,
didn't even have any. I love Reese's.
The show's not ever going to end, so screw you. I'm just going to eat now.
All due respect to Reese's, considering how Nick's face looks, I don't think the Reese's would have made it through the day with the sunshine.
This is why you want Jake Flanagan to be your boss, by the way. It doesn't matter now. We have Justin Fields, and I'm happy. It took years to get over.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's going to keep coming up. And then the other half of my reaction to that whole thing is I'm not surprised by that at all. We've already reported. There's a lot of people done a lot of great reporting on this. It's all been well documented. The lengths that the Bears and Ryan Pace went to keep it under wraps, that Mitch Trubisky was the guy. And so it's not surprising at all that they would tell other prospects that they were going to draft them just to get other teams to think that they were going to draft them, because that's part of how things leak out. And so I didn't find that revelation from Patrick Mahomes Sr. surprising at all. It was interesting. It was a great get by everybody on that show, but it didn't surprise me at all. And unfortunately, this is just going to keep coming up. I'm sad to say it will, but it is.
Was that comment before or after he was smoking on Joe Burrow, the cigar?
It was after, but I didn't. Hoge goes next. We have just different brains, clearly, because I thought they were telling Patrick Mahomes the truth, and they just changed their mind, and they and.
No.
And I think you're right, actually.
Secret dinner in North Carolina, all that nonsense. Remember, they didn't tell the freaking head coach what was going on.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So now you lied to the GOAT. He wants to kill you.
Yeah, I think that stuff happens more than you think it does with every team in the NFL, but this is certainly the highest of all high-profile situations. And we already know it was a very flawed, wrong scouting process, and we don't need to relive it, but unfortunately stuff like this is going to happen where it does. We need to get a couple super chats before we leave and close up this show, so Nick can maybe sit in an ice bath with some aloe and eat his dinner. The Duke says, Carm, we need to meet tomorrow at 4. Bring your from Jake Flanagan saying, quote, we need to meet tomorrow at 4 p.m. Bring your ID badge and work computer. JK, love you, Carm.
Thank you, Duke.
Carm needs a work computer, though. He won't have to return that.
This is true.
Duke says, I have no podcast, but I am going to go into business with Bragg, start selling brick juice if CHGO doesn't do it soon. It's taking Chicago fandom by storm. I agree. We need brick juice shirts. I'm pushing for this. And
actual brick juice.
And I guess brick juice would.
I've got a good idea. What if we had our good friends at Goose Island make a brick juice IPA?
Ooh.
Now we're talking.
Maybe. And look at what Mark says from Easingwold. Mark Gauthier from Easingwold. I'm not sure where that is in England, but somewhere in there. Says, I always drink Goose Island IPA watching Bears games. Sold from the local liquor store at the Market Square. A little bit of home.
Boom.
You're the man, Mark. That's good work.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And then shockingly, we have a real question.
Not a request to oil up. The Bears 85. What's your best guess on how many picks this year will the Bears end up with, and what is a normal hit rate on picks? It's a good question. They have 8 right now. I could see a change in approach though, where even if the Bears acquire more draft capital, that they're willing to move up more than they were last year, where they were literally just trying to get bodies. And they ended up with 11. I could see them, and I think a small sign that if it's the right situation, Poles was willing to be aggressive, is he made the Claypool trade. Like he already traded a 2nd-round pick for a wide receiver. So I think there will be a little bit of a shift this year to make sure you're getting quality and not just quantity. But I do love the idea of having as many swings as possible. So maybe they end up with 8 in the end after many more trades.
Well, Texans made a good hire today. I think that everybody would agree, and D'Amico Ryans to be their next.
Love the hire.
Phenomenal hire.
Really like the only good move the Texans made the last 3 years. It gives me a lot more optimism about their future.
Right. And so that means you want your quarterback, right? And D'Amico's going to get his guy, right? So you're going to trade up with the Bears, right? So we're going to get extra picks there, right? You're going to give us that 12 pick too, right? So we're going to have the 2 and the 12. Then we're going to trade out of that 2, and we're going to have the 12, and we're going to get the Carolinas 9, and we're going to get a bunch of 2nd-round picks and a 1st-round pick next year. That's the plan, right? That's what I'm cooking up. Let's go. So I think he adds picks this year. I think he adds picks next year.
I agree with that, Mark. I think that Ryan Poles, he showed what he can do last year. He regained so many day 2, day 3 picks, but now I think he does want more quality players. And it's best for Justin Fields too if he gets some of those guys. But I think even in 2024, he's going to be getting getting some more ammunition, if you will. All
right, Nick. Eat that food, drink your brick juice, get a good night of sleep. Great work out there in Mobile. Day 2 tomorrow. Invest in some sunscreen. We love you.
I'll be doing that. Thanks, you guys.
All right, we're out of here. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at the Carm, at Nicholas Moreano. Nick's gonna have a notebook up also to read at allchgo.com. Plenty of content. Check it all out on social media. We got more videos that we didn't even get to on the show today. Check out our YouTube channel. It's more than just these shows. We've been adding a bunch of stuff, shorter content, interviews, things like that. And plenty of opportunity to kind of scroll through the channel and check out all the other content we have, especially as we get closer and closer to the draft and free agency and things like that, because it allows us a little, to be honest, go a little in the weeds here, but it gives us a little bit more flexibility to do things that we can't always do in season with all the NFL rules with video and stuff like that. So there's going to be plenty more to come there. So make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification button on the YouTube channel, hit that like button. Appreciate it. Those likes have been going up. That's good. And we got to keep driving them up. So hit that like button right now before you say goodnight. And we're back tomorrow again at 6. Same exact thing. Nick's down there at the practices. We'll be watching all the coverage on TV, giving you our thoughts as well. And make sure you're following all our social media channels and the YouTube channel for all the content over the next few days. Show is again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk to you then.